Hey, everybody. So here we are at another episode of Coffee, Community, and Cocktails. I'm your host, Angela McFarland, and I am very excited to have who I consider to be the coolest person I've ever met. My idol, Melissa Navitsky, the owner of the Bridgeport RIBHOUSE. So thank you for joining me, Melissa.
Well, thank you for having me.
So let's give me some history, right, on the RIBHOUSE. So when I was younger, wasn't it called the Southside Bar?
It was called the Southside Cafe, yes. And in around 2000, the owner changed the name to Bridgeport RIBHOUSE.
Okay.
I got a job there in '02.
Okay.
As a bartender.
Okay.
And in 2017,
yeah,
I bought it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's kind of cool.
It was a biker bar, if I remember correctly, back in the day.
It was. It was called, before the South Side, it was called the King Manor.
That's it. Okay.
And actually the first time I ever went to the RIBHOUSE, it was back in '01.
Okay.
And
because you're not from this area.
I'm not. I've lived here since '87.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm from a little town that's in the mountains in Schuylkill County.
Okay.
Called Shenandoah.
Okay.
And
that's where they have those good potato chips you brought me.
Well, you could get them there, Middlesworth. Yes,
okay.
Yes. You could also get them at Redner's around here.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes,
okay,
yes.
Good.
Yes, I moved here in '87
okay.
for art school. I went to Antonelli.
Oh, nice.
And I studied photography, and I always had a job in a restaurant, even when I got a job after I graduated. And I just liked the restaurant business a lot better. I liked being a bartender. I liked waiting on tables. I love all of that.
Yeah.
And I don't even know where we started with this.
You were just telling me, I was curious as to what the history of the RIBHOUSE was, but
oh.
that actually led into when did you take it over and what brought you here? Because I knew you were from the mountains.
Yeah, so.
The camera's there.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, my God.
I saw myself over there.
Jason's joining us. Okay, so go ahead.
Hello.
Hi.
Breathe, sister.
Thanks.
It's just us. We're regulars.
I know.
This is all fun.
So you were went to school for photography.
For photography, yes, which led me to the restaurant business because
you had to pay your way through.
I had to.
You were a starving artist.
I was a starving
That's
artist.
right.
I absolutely was a starving artist. Yeah. The first time I went to the RIBHOUSE, Franny Beecher was playing. It was a Sunday afternoon. It was March of '01, and I had heard that the granddaddy of rock and roll,
Bill Haley and the Comets,
was playing at the RIBHOUSE. Was playing at the South Side.
South
I mean, because
right.
it was called the RIBHOUSE, but it was still, and I just knew that girls shouldn't go there.
Yeah.
That's what I was always told, that women should not go to that place.
Right.
So I went outside and I stayed outside and I called somebody, and I asked my friend to come out and walk me in.
That's
I
awesome.
walked inside and I was like, this place is pretty cool. It was packed. It was, of just all people who were there for the music.
Right.
And there was Franny Beecher playing Rock Around the Clock. It was
That's awesome.
so amazing. I went home that night and I wrote about it.
Aw.
And
like in a journal?
And then in a journal,
Okay.
yes. I don't journalize every day, but important things in my life, I journalize.
Sure.
And that
Is there
was
a chapter about
and that
me?
was one of them. Oh, there are many.
Way to get your own plug on there.
I'm just making sure.
So anyhow, I started hanging out. I had a boyfriend who played in a band.
Okay.
Who played there.
Okay.
So I would go there and see his band play, and I got to really like the place.
Yeah.
And I got a job there in '02, and yeah.
And you were a bartender, waitress for 15 years there before you bought it?
Before I bought it, yes.
Wow.
So how did that happen?
Well, the owner was selling.
Okay.
And and of course, we all knew that he was selling the place.
Yeah.
And I sent him an email, And I said, is there any way that you would be interested in selling to your employees? We're not self-starters, but we know this business. We've been running it. He had lived in Florida for a few years at this point.
Okay.
And everybody, I had been there long enough. So he said, sure, here's the amount of money.
Okay.
That's great.
Get it together. So I went to every employee and I said, you could, get this money and we can all do this.
Yeah.
He said, no, I just want it to be like maybe 5 key people.
Okay.
And we got it to that. And someone dropped off, then someone else. And anyhow, it just, morphed into, it all came together in 17. I think the whole thing started in 14, where the whole plan started.
Okay, but it took that long.
It took, I sold my house. I sold my house to buy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Because you believed in that space?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I love music. And the bar business is what I know.
Sure.
I've been in it
Been around
my whole life.
But there is something magical about the Rib House.
It is magical.
You and I have talked about it before. Our whole
I just want to say, can everybody hear me?
what do you think they're going to say? Yes, it's not even aired
I
yet.
can hear you.
I just want to make sure you can hear me. That's all. I don't want to say something.
Go ahead. We can hear
I
you.
get Dover back.
Yeah, we can hear you. We've talked about the effect the Ribby has on people before. We've talked about sort of the magic that happens there. Our whole, what we all in our circle affectionately call our music family, right? All of those relationships begin and grow usually at the Rib House.
Yeah.
Isn't that wild?
It's wild. It's
That's what's
wild.
great about it.
But that whole statement kind of speaks to the exact reason why you wanted to own it. You didn't want that to go away, and you knew how to keep that going, right?
I think she made it better.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I worked there. I got a job there for the music.
Yeah.
I used to come there, remember Sunday nights when you were the waitress?
Of course.
Bocce?
Yeah, of course.
Then all of a sudden, Melissa's owning it?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I remember when you came. I remember when
so
him and the
awesome.
boys came home one night from Bocce, and he was like, Melissa owns the Rib House now. And I'm like, she does? That's so cool.
What did I say? The music's going to get so much better. So true. So true.
That's actually true.
It's the place.
That's actually true. Yeah.
Great place.
Well, that's kind of you. It really is. It's kind of you. But
So you buy it. It's 2017. Things are going well. I'm sure you have plans. And then COVID.
Yeah. That was crazy.
That was crazy.
It was crazy. It smacked us right in the face.
Right in the face.
But
Yeah.
You hit the ground running. I mean, it was,
Yeah.
Sorry. You hit the ground running. I mean, that outside the tent, you hit it
Yeah,
right.
you knew exactly how to keep
You knew
the
what you were
business
doing.
going.
You kept the business going.
Yeah.
I don't think your neighbors loved it, did they?
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
Most neighbors were good.
That's
but,
good.
But and I tried to be respectful, and I would try to explain to bands that we don't know who has an infant at home, who had a headache, who
Yeah.
So we tried to.
You're in a neighborhood. You're literally next to a bunch of houses.
And most bands seem to respect that.
Yeah.
And there were some who just turned it up, and we couldn't have them come back again because.
You have to be respectful of where you're
sure,
playing. I get
yeah,
that. I get
yeah.
that. But then, before you could even reopen, I have to imagine because of the shutdown, you were freaking out. You've got the staff, and your people are like your family.
Sure.
We know that because our people are like our family. So how did the whole Barstool, I know what the Barstool Fund is. I love Dave Portnoy, but how did that come about for you guys? Did you apply for it? Did somebody else apply for it for you?
My bartenders came to me and said, "Do you know that this is happening?" And they showed me what was going on, and they said we should do this. And so in a matter of them saying we should do this, to me picking up my phone and walking around the place and making a video and then typing in.
Yeah, because there was like a brief questionnaire.
Because it was all on my phone.
Yeah.
It was on an app, and
Yeah.
I was just like, okay, I'll do this. You know, it wasn't busy. It was COVID. It was like January. We were finally allowed to be inside, but such minimum capacity.
Yes.
And anyhow, I was on my phone, and then it said, okay, now, give us a video, and now give us an essay. And I'm like, an essay?
Right.
And yeah, so it just.
So when he
That's
called
fantastic.
you, did you practically shit your pants? Because
Well-
I think I would have.
Well, what happened was it was a snow day, and the bartender who was supposed to work sent a text and said it's snowing and I can't come in. And I thought, well, I called Dean, our cook, and I said, I'll come and get you if you
Yeah.
could cook and I'll bartend. I didn't want to bring anyone else in on a snow day during COVID.
Right.
It was just, I mean, it was.
But in small business, you also don't want to close.
I didn't
in
want to
case-
close.
Right.
Yeah, I knew the plow guys would be out there, and so it was crazy. And the night before, we had been outside poking all the tents with brooms to get the snow
Yeah.
off of the tents
Yeah.
because. The tents would collapse.
Yeah.
We had heaters pointed up at them. Every snowstorm, we had to do that.
Yeah.
So I just happened to be there that day, and I was bartending, and I had my phone
Yeah.
in my pocket, and I opened it and saw that it was a FaceTime, and I hit I thought, who's FaceTime? I hit it, and there was Dave Portnoy.
Oh,
I
my
fell.
God.
I think I fell on my knees behind the bar.
I
Just like,
would
oh my
That's
God.
so cool.
That's
And there was
amazing.
a bar full of people, and so I kind of put everybody on. And
That's
yeah,
fantastic.
it was nuts. But I got to say, it really saved us because it was dire. It was January.
Yeah.
And our food purveyors were waiting. They were okay. They my landlord was waiting on the rent.
Yeah.
Everybody,
was kind of working together.
Was working, but the staff needed to get paid. And they took care of our payroll.
That's awesome.
And they took care of our payroll for 3 months.
That's
and every
great.
month
Wow.
they sent an email. And the 4th month when they sent the email, and I sent an email back that said, we no longer need your help. We're okay.
Yeah.
Give it to someone else who only has hope. Because that's all that we were going on was hope. It was
That's
just
beautiful.
It was crazy.
That's
So
beautiful.
we had a challenge with our entire staff. We brought everyone in. We had celebrity judges, and we created a sandwich.
Yeah.
And the winning sandwich is called a Portnoy. And every month we give half the money back to the Barstool Fund.
And it's delicious.
And it is. It's a good sandwich.
good sandwich.
Yeah,
I've
it's a
had it
really
about
good
3 or
sandwich.
4 times already.
So
Who
we-
were the celebrity judges?
Yeah. Paul Hammond,
Okay.
Brian Quinn.
Yeah.
Oh my heavens! I'm
know, I'm asking
I'm
you to
drawing
go
a
back and
blank.
put
It
you
was a
on the
couple
spot.
years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, is that? Did you grow up being philanthropic and wanting to give back? Where does that come from in you?
Yeah, I think that's just. Yeah, it's just. I think it's part of our makeup, isn't it?
It
I
is,
think
yeah.
so.
Were you raised that way? Parents?
Yeah, my dad volunteered for everything, and he always had us.
That makes a huge difference.
Yeah, he had
He
us.
modeled that behavior.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, you name it. My dad volunteered for it, and he always had one of us kids with him.
That's
helping.
good. How many of you are there?
5,
Okay, and where are you in the birth order?
number 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
Boys
Yeah.
and girls?
1 boy in the middle. Yeah.
Wow.
4 girls. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And the reason I bring up the philanthropy is because the Rib House does so much. You're always the hub of a variety of fundraisers, whether it be the big one that we're going to talk about being Ribstock, or whenever anybody in the music community needs help, the Ribstock is always one of the venues that is offered up first to do a show or a fundraiser, which that's not an easy thing to do. And the fact that everybody knows, well, we definitely can count on the Rib House, that makes you a community staple. I think that's important.
Well, that's community. You hit the nail on the head right there, and that's what I want, and that's what I strive for in buying the Rib House. It was
Sure.
never, I never had thoughts of getting rich from
Right.
Yes.
owning the Rib House.
Right.
I just thought that I wanted to keep the music going.
Yeah.
I wanted to buy myself a job.
100%.
I wanted, you know, I wanted,
Mhm.
I wanted that. I wanted to make sure the staff had a job, that, you know, that we were all still together, that the community had a place to go for music, that, and anything that's needed.
Yeah.
I just wanted to ensure that we had a place in the community, because I'm a small town girl.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
that's
I like that whole feeling of
Well, just like me, you're looking for something to just survive
oh, sorry.
and
and to grow. Now, you know what I mean? Like you're not in it, like you said, to get rich. Nobody
I
is.
just want to do my part. I just want to do my
wanna
part.
do your part.
And yeah.
And be able to lay your head down at night and feel like you contributed something to somebody else. That's the important thing.
You know, yeah, it is.
I have to tell you, I think that after, and if I remember correctly, I don't think you even got to sleep until after 4 o'clock in the morning. For those that are not from this area or have never been to the Rib House, one of the big events that the Rib House is a part of every year is a Secret Santa. And it's special guest bartenders, and the guest bartenders are typically some of the musicians that call the Rib House home and have a great following in the area, as well as Joe Steiber, who owns Rotation Records and Rotation Gives. And the way that people come together for that event, CJ Santangelo, his A team organizes, gets all the money in, and then goes shopping for families. And what was it, in 11 minutes? Or no, 1 hour. It was 1 hour.
1 hour.
How much was raised? I feel like it was $11,000.
Is that what it was?
I think
this
that's
year?
where the
11?
11's coming from.
Was it 11?
It was definitely
was it
over 10.
11,000
Yeah.
this year?
Yeah, I think it was over 10.
I
And
should know that.
that's okay.
It's okay.
And the beauty of that is our own son, Jake, was one of the special guest bartenders this year. CJ wanted to bring him in, and Jake goes to the Rib House with us all the time. He's obsessed with the bartenders, Megan. And Melissa treats him like family, so it's a very safe place for him to be. But that event alone, there wasn't a dry eye in the house. And I've been to other fundraisers there or other events there, and the feeling is just second to none. And we do our own type of things like that. So to see it when it's not yours and see people coming together, it's an unbelievably beautiful thing. So that kind of brings me then to Ribstock. So we're coming up, it's February 19th. It's always the Sunday before President's Day,
Yep,
right?
the day before President's Day.
And what number is this? Do you know?
This will be the 12th.
The 12th.
Yes.
Now, how did that start?
It started with just some people talking about having a music festival
Okay.
years ago. And the day before President's Day seemed the appropriate fit.
Yeah.
They got some bands together. Michael Pissarro, to have,
Mhm.
you know, who he dubbed it Ribstock.
Okay.
And so it began. And
Was there
the
always
first,
a charity?
no, there was not. So
Okay.
that was the first one in 11,
Okay.
and the next year, an organization, a children's organization, got involved, and it became a charity event.
That's amazing.
And ever since it's grown.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it went from raising $1,000 to $8,000.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And it's one of the best days of the year. It's 8 hours of just,
Day drinking.
well, yeah, day drinking, but killer music, great food. People are always happy to be there, even when you can't move because it's so crowded.
It's a great day of
It is a great day.
of music. Yeah,
So-
good vibrations.
Yeah. So who's on the bill this year?
So Camille K is going to be opening the show with the Star Spangled Banner.
Okay.
Then Basic Cable
Nice.
is going to play.
So that's a good
Followed by
80s vibe.
80s vibe, yeah. Former Strangers,
Party band.
Great band.
Nat Attack,
Another great band.
80s rock band. Yeah.
Hot Sauce Junkies.
Everything.
Love 'em.
Love them.
Yeah, there you go. Pawn Shop Roses.
You know what? I'm
Ooh.
excited because I've never seen them. Never seen them.
Well, this is going to be
Yeah.
your time to see them. They
Yeah.
are a fantastic band. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right Swipes, which is 90s.
Really?
Ooh, alternative?
Yeah.
Right.
Grunge?
Yeah,
Wait.
they're great.
Right swipe.
Right Swipes.
Oh,
Right
I
Swipe.
love that. I've never heard of them. This is awesome.
Oh,
okay.
yeah, they're fantastic.
Okay.
And followed by closing out the show is going to be, of course, Paul Hammond and
Hammond.
Friends.
Oh.
Yeah,
Which is
that's-
always amazing.
Always
Totally.
great.
Always amazing.
Yeah, I think he's going to have a lot of special guest stars this year.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So we're selling chairs for $100 a seat.
okay. And that's around the bar, right?
And that's for the bar. And there are 10 seats at there's one table of 6 and one table of 4 available.
Everything else is already
everything
sold.
is yeah, it's
That's
$100
awesome.
a seat. That's what's available.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean if you don't get a seat, doesn't mean you don't come. You pay. It's $10 at the door, right?
It's $10 donation, yes.
But we always find room for people.
Oh, there is always room.
I swear to God, the Rib House has the way of expanding when you're in there. It really does. I noticed at I had my 50th
Can't
birthday
believe that many
party
people
there.
can fit in there.
I
but
know, and I'm
They
like,
do.
No.
but
Oh.
it just feels
Capacity.
like it doesn't feel like you're cramped or anything.
Right.
You know, it's always a good time. It's always a good time. And who is the who's it benefiting this year?
So this year, it's going to be split 3 ways.
Okay,
Bridgeport Little League,
nice.
Expressive Path,
Okay,
Mm.
and the Upper Marion Cupboard.
okay. The food,
yeah, it's
food pantry.
the food pantry.
That's great.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of food in Montgomery County, even though there's so many food pantries, we do a lot of work with Martha's Choice. And they're actually the biggest food pantry in Montgomery County. But the rising number of food insecurity in Montgomery County is astonishing. So I think that that's a fantastic.
Yeah, people need to eat.
they do.
Everyone needs to eat.
Now, aside
It's-
from the $10 at the door or buying the seat, can people donate in other ways?
we take instrument donations, and they'll go to Eisenhower Middle School
Okay.
through Expressive Path.
Perfect. Yep. We did a lot when we first started our thing. Pamela's a customer. Pamela's the founder of Expressive Pass, and she had come in and she said, "I think our missions kind of line up. Would you consider?" And so when we moved down here from the smaller spot 2 doors up, they were our charity partner for the last 2 months of the year, for November and December of 2020, and we had people that donated tons of instruments, journals, all kinds of things, because what Expressive Paths does is it encourages arts in the community for not just at-risk youth, but anybody that has an interest that maybe doesn't have the money for an instrument and wants to take a lesson, or maybe is an artist and doesn't have art supplies. So it's really helping the next wave of artists, which that's got to be near and dear to your heart, considering you went to art school.
Oh, well, yeah. And just, I mean, Expressive Path, they have mentors in music, and they help these kids. It's just real important for the kids to have something to focus on when they don't have art programs in schools.
I know. It's so
the way
sad.
that they used to.
It's so sad.
And Pam is doing great things.
She
with
really is.
Expressive Path.
She really
Yeah.
is. And I love that you're supporting Little League, because that kind of speaks also to that whole small town girl thing, right? Like,
sure.
we love when we drive by our baseball field right here, seeing our sign on there, because it's like our kids played Little League.
Yeah.
So
I coach Little League.
I used to change the scoreboard for a hot dog. A hot dog,
Yeah.
a hot dog and a Pepsi they'd give us if we'd sit out on
Ah,
the scoreboard was out in center field. And
that's
I loved every
awesome.
minute of it. Coaching.
Let's talk about music for a minute.
okay.
You're a Deadhead.
Well, I wouldn't say I'm a deadhead.
Oh, you're not? I thought they were your favorite.
No, I love
Okay.
the Grateful Dead. I love a lot of music.
What's your
People
favorite?
seem to think that.
You know
People
why?
seem to think that
That's
'cause-
what I'm curious about. What's your favorite?
I think it's the vibe I give off.
I
that
think it's
people
the
seem
vibe,
to
but I
think
also
that.
think you have a lot of Dead music at the Rib House. So I thought, since you're the person who books the bands, that was what you gravitated towards.
Well-
so what is what you gravitate towards?
all of it. I mean, I started we're having Grateful Sundays now. So
Okay.
every Sunday is a Grateful Dead band.
Okay.
And then the other
Is that
nights,
going to be ongoing?
yes.
That's awesome.
Oh, yes, yes,
That's
yes.
awesome.
Every Sunday from 4 to 8, Grateful Sunday. And the rest of the week is classic rock,
Yeah.
which I love as
That's
well.
your favorite?
So
Okay.
it's all my favorite. So, I thought the Grateful Sundays, it's a great way that people can come out and dance in the afternoon.
No, I love it. I love the name. I love what
It's
it.
a beautiful afternoon of music.
Do you have a favorite band?
Oh, my heavens. Well, Led Zeppelin.
If you had to pick one, real Zeppelin.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 100%. That was the band that my best friend and I, we discovered Led Zeppelin together when we were kids, and so it was the real introduction
Yeah.
to rock and roll to us, that we actually wanted to listen to the records. It wasn't just on the radio, that we wanted more and more.
And it was more than just Robert
Notice
Plant
she
being
said
attractive.
records.
I do.
Yeah.
Well, she's our age. What was your first concert?
Styx.
Okay.
Yeah.
What year?
It was 77 or 78. I was in like 7th or 8th grade. And yeah.
Mom and Dad
And
took you?
My
Or
brother.
your brother?
My brother, and it was in Baltimore. He took my sister and I.
Wow.
And yeah, it was Styx and Angel. And
Nice.
Angel. I love them.
And I have no idea what Angel sings. No offense.
They were the anti-Kiss.
No. Oh, really? See, no offense to Angel. I don't remember.
Yeah.
They were both on the same label, Kiss and Angel.
Okay.
And Angel was like this white dress, and Kiss was all black. So they always said they're the anti-Kiss.
Okay.
You know?
All right.
It was cool now. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people love
Yeah,
Angel.
I remember
in here.
having dreams after seeing Styx that Tommy Shaw would pull me up onto his piano and sing to me.
He still has pipes.
And I used to have that dream a lot when I was a kid. Yeah.
What's the most recent concert that you went to?
I get the let out like last month at the Fillmore.
Okay. And then I know you saw Roger Waters this summer.
I did.
And didn't you see?
Van Morrison.
You saw Van Morrison.
Yeah.
You've
Yeah,
seen some great.
I've
Like
done-
I live vicariously through you.
Well, come to concerts.
I know.
with me.
One of these days we're gonna go
It's
to a
always
concert
last
together.
minute. I never planned for
I know.
anything.
I remember when I forget what was going on that it was a last minute thing for you to go to see David Gilmour. You weren't going to go, or you didn't have a ticket until like 2 days before or something, right?
Yeah, I think, yeah. Oh, yeah. I got
That
the,
was
I got
crazy.
the ticket at the last minute.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we were talking. It was around. I was saying I wanted to go, but I was also afraid it was going to trigger me to just have a complete mental breakdown because my father was a huge Pink Floyd fan, and I was just having my own things. And I remember you either called me or you texted me after, and you told me just how beautiful the show was, and I kind of felt like I was there just based on the way that you explained
really?
it. So I appreciated that very much. What criteria goes into who you book to play at the Rib House? Like,
Well,
is it always
That's a great
recommendation?
question.
Well, you've asked me before, like, have you heard this band? And we've talked. But because I know for me, I'll like to see a YouTube video or something like that. But I'm different because I'm not a bar, so I don't have to have asses in the seat, right, to make my money. I don't make any money when I do these shows. So to me, if it's a band that brings 3 people, what?
Break.
Oh, I guess he's done.
No, bathroom.
Oh, for me, ours are always little charity fundraisers. So I would love it if I always had a full house, but sometimes I may have 6 people in here. That's not going to help you in your business. So clearly, is it that they need to have a following? What do you look for?
well, I go out to see bands.
Okay.
I would rather see a band live. That way, I get to get a feel of what they're doing, the vibe they're throwing off, the crowd they're bringing.
Yeah.
Because a band who might be a great band on a Friday night somewhere might be a great band on a Sunday afternoon for us.
Absolutely.
Or on a Thursday night.
Absolutely.
And so I like to go out and see that and just get a feel for it before I book a band. I don't like to book bands who play in our neighborhood.
Sure.
They saturate if there's a band who plays somewhere nearby, have respect for the venue.
Sure.
I have respect for the band.
Yeah.
And maybe they'd play at our place a couple months later.
Right.
But
Right.
as far as regular rotation, I try to keep a regular rotation of bands who aren't playing around the area.
Yeah.
That way, they think that more people will get to see them.
I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that.
When a band plays too close to
Yeah.
another venue, people think, oh well,
I'll just
go
catch 'em
here
over
this
there.
time and there that next time, and I say there's the community again, all for one and one for all.
That's right.
But
But I also like
we all have our thing.
what you said about the vibe they give off, because again, if you're not somebody who's ever been to the Rib House, literally, at least for me, right? When I walk into the Rib House, it's 15 minutes of hellos and hugs and kisses, because it feels like you're walking into Cheers, doesn't it? Like I'm waiting for somebody to go, Norm, like when I walk in the door. So it's important because you know what your regulars, what the vibe of your regulars are, and the customer base. And you're not just a bar that has music, you are an unbelievably delicious restaurant.
Food is good.
The food is incredible. And people come from all over because you have award-winning mac and cheese and some of the best wings I've ever had in my life. There's a reason why we picked the Ribby for my 50th, and it was yes, the food, it was yes, the vibe, it was yes because it coincided with Former Strangers, but it was also because of you and what you've created there. And we're there usually every Friday and or Sunday night, particularly during Bocce. He's there every Sunday. So it's like a second home to us.
Yeah, I also wanted to say I really appreciated when you brought me in the back and told the girls about the tip.
Oh.
That was just beautiful.
Oh.
And they were just all hugging me, and
so you
it was
just
just so
liked that Melissa got all the hot girls that worked for her
no, it
to
was
hug
just
you?
so nice of them to
I
do that.
see you, Megan Moody.
Usually it's you just do what you do, and
Yeah.
you pay for the bill. And,
Yeah.
But she was so kind, and
Because she
wow,
understood.
this is great. Like you really get it. You really understand people and what's going on in their lives.
Those
That's what I
girls
think.
hustle. Your
Yeah.
staff hustles.
But she understands the money aspect. She understands
Yes.
what people can do.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, but I mean, I want him
Mm-hmm.
whenever someone is extra generous the way you were,
Mm-hmm.
I want everyone to stop and take time. I
That's
want,
awesome.
and it's not something that you yell down the bar to somebody. It's,
Right,
you've
right.
got, yeah. Well,
But that is a trait not too many people have.
You should be recognized for,
As a
making
business
making their
owner,
night,
there's a
making
lot
the
of
girls'
business
night.
owners that don't have that trait.
But I think part
And
of
you
the
have it.
reason that you also were, what word did you use? Generous, is because you are also a business owner.
Mhm.
You know how hard those girls hustled.
Absolutely.
You made that whole night about me. You had
Yes.
100 other customers
was
besides
a
the
lot of
people that
work.
were there for my party. And you made that whole night about me. And your staff did. You incorporated my son. My other son was behind the bar carrying the cake.
That
up.
was
So
great,
you
Chris.
really kind of opened the door to my whole family that night. And the girls did, your staff did. So, we appreciate that, and it lets the girls know that they're not being taken for granted.
Oh,
The
no.
service industry is brutal.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm a lifer.
You lived it.
I'm
Yep.
I'm a lifer in the business.
Yes.
I'm a lifer in the business, and I know that, and I really, our staff, we are family.
Yeah.
We truly are family, and everyone comes together, and everyone looks out for one another,
But you go that step further, and you make your customers feel like family.
Well, yeah. Well, we are. We're all family.
We are.
Right?
That's
We
right.
are.
Yeah.
But that's why people, it's like if they
That's how
made
Ange
a-
and I look at it. We're all family.
Yeah,
We're
but
all
if they
together.
made a Christmas
One
Hallmark
goal.
movie in Bridgeport, the Ribby would be like, the place that everybody
yeah,
goes.
Awesome.
With the lights and
Yeah,
when
when the
snow
woman
falling.
comes from the big city, and she can't take it anymore and all that. She finds the love of her life in a band that's playing at the Ribby on a Friday night or something.
There you go. Write that screenplay.
I know, right? I should.
What other questions do you have there, Ange?
Let me check the time. Oh, we're good. Okay, we still have a little bit of time. So you go to a lot of concerts. What was your favorite live show that you've seen in your life?
I know it's happened. I saw early 90s. Well, first of all, anytime you see Paul McCartney, it's the best concert ever.
Damn right.
Okay. So, like right there, every time.
Did I ever tell you when I chased his van?
No.
He was sitting. We were running down the street at the stadium, he was in his bus with the door open, waving to us.
Waving to people.
And I'm like, yes, I love you. I was like, I love you. Can I please ride with you?
Listen, my big ass does not run, and I'm like, Paul!
She's behind me. I'm like, but I was like, oh,
yeah.
I was like, am I gonna pass out?
Oh, that's a moment.
It was great. It was so cool.
So
he was just like, yes, he was Paul McCartney.
Is your all-time?
Well, I mean, that's just,
that's one that comes to mind.
Yes, yeah.
Gotta see it. Yeah.
Exactly. Every time I'll always go. However, when you said that, the first concert that came to mind was in the early 90s. I saw Roger Daltrey at the Man with 50 or 60 piece orchestra do the music of Pete Townsend.
Wow.
I remember when that CD came out.
That was super cool.
That's very cool.
It was the first time that I had ever seen an orchestra perform with a rock band.
Yeah.
They do it a lot now.
They do. We went to.
That was the first
Can
time.
I chime in?
Hold on.
It always,
Did you ever go to the Philly Pops when they do any of that? Because we did the Beatles at the Philly Pops, and we did Queen at the Philly Pops, and it was unbelievable. Just both of those bands, their music lends itself well to an orchestra, but I bet that was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Well,
and I think because it was the first one, the first one that I ever saw like that. And
What were you gonna?
I just had a real quick music question. Okay, Beatles, Stones, Who? Which one would you pick if you had to?
To do what?
Your favorite.
What are you asking her to F, marry, kill?
Your favorite. Your favorite if you had to pick one. I know it's hard. I get this question all the time. I always pick. You do. I pick.
Yeah.
Well, I have to say that Pete Townsend is my favorite voice in all the land.
Okay.
And so I have.
So it's the Who.
I have to because of Pete's voice. Yeah.
Fantastic.
I even go to see his
That's
brother
awesome.
Simon Townsend, because Simon has the same.
Yeah.
He has the same voice as
voice.
Pete.
So wait, you asked her the Who, the Beatles, and who? Zeppelin?
Stones.
Oh, the Stones. I was going to say, usually the question is Beatles or Stones. That's the one you
I include Who in there. Who's amazing.
Yeah.
They don't get enough credit. They're always like, everybody's always Beatles, Stones. Nobody mentions the Who. I'm like, the Who is amazing.
I think so.
If you could, alive or dead, okay, if you could have any band, whether they're still together, they're all dead, some of them are dead, play at the Rib House, who would you pick?
Bruce Springsteen, if you're watching.
Oh, Little Miss,
if you're watching, Bruce, come on.
Yeah.
You're
it's
having
not far
open
from
invitation.
Jersey.
Bruce might be the guy to do it.
Open invitation anytime. Your buddy John Eddie told me that he would play there, but it seems like he hasn't come out of Tennessee. So, Bruce. Hi, Bruce. Remember when Alan Thicke used to do this? Alan Thicke was on a Bruce hunt. He was like, Bruce, come and play on my show. I remember that. That was in the 80s.
I love that you just found your voice on this podcast now. You went from being nervous to, hi, Bruce.
She's having a good old time. That's what it's all about.
That is. What are you most proud of about the Rib House?
That I've been able to keep the torch going. That I've been able to keep the torch lit.
I can understand that coming from a small business person.
Yeah,
100%.
yeah, yeah.
That's hard. It's hard.
It's crazy.
Yes.
It's crazy, and yeah.
People don't see what goes on in between everything. And there's a lot going on.
There's a lot that goes on.
Sure is.
I mean,
Bills and bills
yeah.
and bills.
And I love it. I
Mm-hmm.
love it, and I know what I signed up for, and it's just a lot of hours, but I love being there.
Yeah.
I do. It's
and you
it's the
own
job
it.
I chose,
And you own it too. I remember one day you said to me, "I'm sorry, I'm calling you or texting you back so early, but if I don't, I will forget." And I do the same thing because you said sometimes you'll look at your phone. If you're at a red light, you'll look at your phone, and by the time you've gotten to the next place, you've forgotten because you're doing 1,000 other things.
Yeah.
So the pace is.
I'm a total red light worker, and I shouldn't be.
I get it. We all are, though. I know.
Yeah, and So
any big plans on the horizon for the Rib House? Jason wants to know if you're ever going to put another bathroom in.
I would love to do that. I have a couple more years until the building is mine, and once it is, then I'll make some more renovations.
That's
Well, you're going up, maybe.
Once the building's mine.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, nothing until
But how's your office?
it's coming along. That's what,
That's amazing.
Little by little.
That's awesome.
I was excited to move up and have an office.
And have an office.
And my desk looks like Oscar Madison's desk.
Does it?
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
your little workspace. She took me back to show. She was giving me something, and I mean, this woman runs one of the most successful restaurants and bars in the Montgomery County area. It is the world famous Rib House. Musicians everywhere know it. And her workspace was like this much room, like right where all of the bartenders and the waitresses and everything are. You had no room to put anything.
It's between the bar and the kitchen.
The bar and the kitchen.
The walkthrough, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
I'm not going to ask you who your favorite performer to have at the Rib House is, because that wouldn't be a fair question, right? But is there anybody that you would love to have come back that hasn't played there in a long time?
Oh, my heavens. Yeah, Live at the Fillmore was just, they came in and they had dinner the other night.
I saw that.
And they're welcome to come back
That's
anytime
what made
play.
me, yeah.
Yeah.
Any other plans for, I know we had talked a little bit about, or you had started something like a contest, a live or original music contest.
We're going to, yes, we're going to be having an original band contest.
That's awesome.
And it is. It's going to be awesome. We were actually going to start it last year.
Right.
And then we wanted to wait until we got our new sound system.
Okay.
And when the new sound...
Shout out Rotation Records.
Rotation Productions. Yeah, they did a great job on our
Joey.
sound system. And so the sound system got in, and by the time the sound system got tweaked, our staff we were having staffing issues.
Sure.
So by the time we got staffed and we said, okay, we're going to start the contest, our good friend Tom Nigerian passed. So it kind of,
Love you, Tommy.
Yeah. Anyhow,
Mm.
now I'm saying March.
Okay.
We're going to start it in March. And here it is. It's on the podcast, so I have to.
That's
Thank
it.
you. This is the way
Sorry.
I have to do it.
We can delete that out.
I can.
I'll tell
I
you
can
what.
edit it out.
No, don't, because this is how I have to do it. Like, we're having Friends Trivia
Yep.
at the end of the month.
Yeah.
And we've been saying we were supposed to have it in like November.
Right.
And I finally said, all right, I'm putting a date on the calendar so that we have to do this.
Yeah. I do that too.
A couple weeks ago, I said to Christy and Mike, our bartenders, the three of us put the game together.
Okay.
So this isn't something that you can study for. You
have to actually be a Friends fan.
Yeah, you have to be. Yes, you have to know the show. And I said, I'm going to put a promo out on social media. So we have to do this. And I put the promo out, and we got together a couple of days later and created the game.
And it got a lot of buzz. People really excited.
Oh
about
yeah,
it.
we're at capacity for it. Yeah,
That's
and
awesome.
it's a couple weeks away. But that's the way that I have to do it.
Okay.
So there we go. At the beginning of March, that's going to be our. It's going to be original band contest, and what's going to happen is We'll have 3 bands. It'll be on a Tuesday night. 3 bands will come in and they'll perform for 20 minutes each. And we'll have celebrity judges. And the winner of that night will go on to a final round. After, we'll have brackets, and the winner of the winner will get $500 plus 5 hours to record one song.
That's amazing.
At Rotation Records. And then they'll get the first original band night gig at the Rib House, first original paying
awesome.
gig. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Can we say who the judges are going to be?
They're going to be different every week. Yeah.
But it'll be your normal celebrity
local
rotation.
Celebrity judges. Yeah, maybe you two would like to judge. Would you two like to be a judge?
I would be honored.
I would be honored
Oh
too.
my God.
Great.
I'm
honored.
I do think we should recuse ourselves, though, of what if Dinah performs. We should recuse ourselves and not judge the night that they do it, because
I'll tell you, I love Dinah.
everybody's going to think, well, they're just going to pick them, and we would. So, but no, I love that. I love that.
But not to get off topic.
Okay. We got about
But
10
kind of
minutes.
off topic.
Okay.
My thing is, like, Melissa's a music person.
Yeah.
You're a music person. I'm a music person. We could sit here and talk about bands and, what's your favorite Grateful Dead record all day long. I do it here. But my big thing is, who are you as a person? When you're home on your couch, what do you want?
Look at my notes.
No.
Oh, I was going to ask that.
Like, who are you? What are you watching on TV? Do you like to cook? Do you order, or you take food home from the Rib House?
Well,
I want to know how you stay that thin with those French fries that the Rib House has.
Those French fries are so good, aren't they?
And the
Oh, we have
dessert.
best
Let me
French
just
fries.
tell you, we got the banana bar last week. You remember you served it to me? Dear God in heaven, it was like
That was
it
fire.
was a religious experience. And that is coming from the person who always gets your brownie thing. I was like, this is insane. That was so good.
So good.
Yeah.
What do you do at home? What do you watch on TV? What do you like?
Friends.
Yeah.
No, I mean, just like everybody, like COVID. I never watched TV. I watched ED at the end of that.
Yeah.
Except to fall asleep. I was a bartender
Right.
my whole life, so I watched television at the end of the night to fall asleep, which was always Nick at Night, which is I think why
You like the old shows?
Probably why you like
why-
Friends so
why-
much. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so during COVID, I discovered television
Okay.
and the art of binging.
Yeah.
And,
Okay.
I love all the binges that everyone else loves. Like
Okay.
Netflix and Amazon and Hulu and
Any particular show
right now
that you love?
Right now I'm finishing Firefly Lane. I have a
Isn't
couple
it great?
episodes. It is. I love it because it's about the 70s and like the
Yes.
70s and the 80s.
Yes.
And I think like I'm a little bit younger than what they would have been.
Right.
They would have been the girls that I was idolizing in the 70s.
100%.
I would have
Wow.
been a little kid watching those
100%.
girls like walk up the street in their makeup and
Yep.
their,
I'm totally old school, like old shows, Jeffersons.
Well, that's why Jake is the way he
That's
is.
why Jake watches all that stuff.
But
Yeah.
what season of Firefly Lane are you on?
The
new
second.
one? The second. Okay.
Second.
Is that
Right.
there's only two.
There's
right?
only two, yeah. And this season is cut into 2 parts. So when you get done, the second part of season 2, I think, comes out in May or June. And this season was so good.
Oh, yeah.
So good.
I'm liking it so far.
Yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it.
But the other thing being, like, you were an art student. Do you still do any art?
Yeah, do you still take pictures?
I've been pulling my camera out and taking pictures around the Rib House lately.
Yeah. I
Just-
noticed that.
Yeah, I've been just to keep up my chops, but that's it. That's as far as it's going. It was at the point where I started a photography business maybe 15 years ago, something like that. I don't even remember. And I was doing weddings.
Okay.
And I started getting more, and I had goals, and I was meeting my goals. And then it came to when the Rib House
Wow.
was being sold.
You found your
that
niche.
I was, which way do I go with this?
Wow.
And so I stopped doing photography altogether because there just wasn't time to do. And I went with the sure thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And
But
then
could you
COVID.
imagine?
But that's your niche, though. That's
Oh
what
my
you're.
God.
Yeah.
You're.
It's
You almost find out in life that's what I was built for. This is what I was built for.
It's my teenage dream. I'm hosting a party every night.
Yes, exactly.
And you see the way I have it decorated.
Music all around you.
If you saw
That's your
pictures
bedroom,
of
right?
me when I was a teenager in my bedroom, those are pictures of that's my teenage bedroom. It's
I was actually, well, first of all, I'm just thinking, like, what would life be like if Melissa had not bought the Rib House and was just a wedding photographer somewhere? Like, can you imagine all of the missed
We would have lost a lot.
Oh, my God. All of the relationships that have formed there, the friendships, the community. That's actually gut-wrenching to think about.
Well,
you
then
not
don't
doing
think
that.
about
I'm
that.
not going to.
Yeah,
I'm not going to.
Wipe that out of your head.
But I have a question. So, and it kind of goes with the whole photography thing. How did it start that Pat is there and photographs every band that plays? How did that start?
Pat has, as long as I've worked at the Rib House, Pat has been around with her camera.
Okay.
There just wasn't social, but
Okay.
I wasn't on social media in '02. But yeah, Pat just always had her camera and just loves to.
Yeah.
Great lady, great lady.
Yeah, she loves to journalize memories.
I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, me too.
I do. So, because there's sometimes where I'll come across.
What is it?
Oh,
Cover your mouth thing? Yeah, what is that?
that's not for the podcast.
Is it a Pat thing?
It's a bad thing.
I don't know.
Put together for me a dream band using players from some of our bands.
Oh, well, that would be every member of every band who plays at the Rib House.
Good answer. I knew she was going to say that.
I know. I was hoping that I could get you to kind of.
Well, here's the thing. This is the thing.
You can't answer that.
I book the music.
Right.
I'm the music booker.
Right.
So I book all the bands who I
You like. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I feel like almost like it's like I pinch myself sometimes because it's all the music that
100%.
Yeah. So every band who plays, I love.
Yeah.
And everyone who gets on the stage, I fall in love with.
Right.
So
Right.
it's crazy.
It is.
I know. I'm so starstruck.
I get that way
I get
too,
that
though.
way,
I
yeah.
get that way
Yeah.
too. Okay, so we're at just about an hour.
Mhm.
Is there anything else that you want to add about the Rib House or your staff or about
Any
Ribstock?
plug?
Anything?
Well, Ribstock is a great charity.
It is. It's an amazing
it's a
charity.
great benefit, and there's going to be a link online where people could donate through Rotation Gives.
Perfect. And that's a 100% deductible donation.
Yeah, and every month, every penny is going to go to Upper Merion Cupboard, Bridgeport Little League, and Expressive Path.
You also want to let everybody know. I'm sorry.
Okay. And if anybody's got
No, I'm sorry. I thought you were done. My bad.
My co-host.
If she was my mom and you were me, you would be getting pinched right
I know,
now.
I know. Totally. Yeah. No, my mom won't pinch me. She'd do more than that.
But if anybody, go to your attic, your garage, your kid's room who doesn't play an instrument anymore, because Eisenhower Middle School could really use the instruments donation.
As far as the food pantry goes, are you accepting any canned good donations or grocery store gift cards or anything like that as well?
We'll take canned good donations, grocery store gift cards.
Okay.
They would work with Bridgeport's little cupboard.
Okay, perfect. Okay. So that's February 19th. This is going to, we're recording it here. It's still January, but we're going to release this closer to probably 2 weeks before Ribstock to really promote it. Melissa, you've only been my second guest. My first was him. And like I told you, when I made my list of who I wanted, you were at the top because...
You were even before me.
Actually, you were. But like we always say, like you always joke and say, I'm your idol and you're my idol. We are so in sync on so many things, and it's a pleasure to have you here. I love all of the support that you show my family for no matter what we do. And
I also want to say thank you.
Yeah. And I'm looking forward to the day that we do something together for the community.
Me too.
Can't wait. Can't wait.
Me too.
You know, we haven't figured it out yet.
We
We'll
will.
figure it out.
But we've talked about it.
We're going to figure something out.
We
are
are.
absolutely going to figure something
It'll
out.
be a good time.
And you know, like you two both need to be commended for everything
Thank you
that
so
you
much.
do for the community.
thanks.
Because, my God.
That's what it's all about.
I don't know when you sleep. I have no idea.
We don't.
That's why I look like this. I don't.
So beautiful.
But what I was going to say was, give a plug for your business, address, everything.
Oh yeah, where's the Rib House located?
It's located in Bridgeport, 1049 Ford Street,
FORD.
like the car,
Like the
in
car.
Bridgeport, 19405.
Yep. Killer food.
Great food.
Great ribs. Great mac and
amazing
cheese.
music.
Best pork sandwiches around.
Great
Best
pork
pork
sandwich.
sandwiches around.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Great chicken.
But I mean, just
Great everything.
the fries,
Try the nachos.
the dessert. Oh, the
pork.
nachos are
Oh, yeah,
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Um,
Don't forget about
Burger.
The
The
beignets.
burger.
Oh, our burgers.
Yeah.
Yum,
I
yum.
mean, the food, all in all,
Oh,
two
get a
things.
burger
The
on a
takeaway.
brioche bun.
Oh my God, the
Mm.
takeaway from my party.
I'm getting hungry.
The two things everybody said was the food was
dinner yet.
unbelievable, and then of course everybody loved Former Strangers. So,
Mhm.
I was going to say something else and it just escaped me. But yeah, check them out. And you know, she has different events all the time. So every Sunday is open mic from 8 to 8:30
It's an
to
acoustic
whenever.
open
It's an
mic.
acoustic open mic.
We carry it on in Tommy's memory. Tom
Absolutely.
Nigerian ran open mic, and when he passed, Jay wanted to keep it going
Yeah.
in Tommy's memory, so we call it Tommy's open mic.
Which is what it should be. Tommy was the godfather of our music community and one of the biggest supporters of music.
He sure was. He popped into
Everywhere.
everything.
Everywhere.
And, you know, sometimes he'd hit 5 different spots a night.
He would. And, you know, we were all lucky enough to be with him the day before he passed away here at
Right
our
here.
dinner.
Right here.
Right here.
And you, yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't serve him his last meal. I thought maybe I did, but he went to
Peppers.
Peppers. he went to check out a couple bands, and he went to Peppers after he was here, and then he ended up doing open mic for you.
Yeah,
so.
he went to open mic that
But
night.
I did get to feed him, and it still seems completely unfathomable.
And you gave him a shout out here too that day.
I did.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
did. I miss him. I miss, you know, he was somebody that
know.
just, he
So
always
kind,
he
always
always
say-
had a kind word.
He was
Yeah.
encouraging. He was
Oh,
very
100%.
encouraging of everyone's
And a
anything that
wordsmith.
anyone was
I
I-
thought I was long-winded
When
on
we
Facebook.
had- When we had our thing at the park
Yeah.
for us,
Yeah.
and I just walked up to him and I just said, "Man, thank you so much
Yeah.
for what you do, man."
Oh, he started crying.
He started crying.
Yeah.
He said, "No, thank you for everything you do.
Yeah.
It's all about you, what
Yeah.
you do." And that's Tom.
But I think that's
You know?
that's why
Sure.
all of us, not just the three of us, but all of us in this world, the Joe Stibers, the CJ Santangelos, the Mike Nats, you know, we are all very like-minded in you do good, you get good. You know, and I think that the fact that you've always put good energy out into the world is why you were blessed with Barstool, and then you continually give it back. That's what it's all about.
That's why if we had a
Yeah.
plug,
Yeah.
you rock.
Yeah. It's funny. You know what?
Perfect cup
We
for
were
her.
looking for. I gave her options. I said, "Which mug do you want?"
You rock.
She was like, "I had my eye on one of the bigger mugs," and then I remembered this one. This
Melissa
is actually
rocks.
the Mike Nat mug, but Melissa's using it.
No,
too.
Mike Nat is you rock, dude.
Yes, but I bought this because I
Oh.
wanted him to be able to drink out of
Ooh,
it when
sorry-
he comes in.
sorry,
No,
Mike.
it's not his alone.
Oh,
Not
okay.
But
his.
you get to christen it.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, he didn't even drink out of it
He doesn't even know about it yet.
He doesn't
Oh,
know.
now you know, Mike.
I got it for him because he's
Coffee
the
tastes good out of it.
he's the band leader for the Vinyl Closet Band, our little house band, which we put together with a lot of the local celebrities that play at the Rib House all the time, and they're the backing band for our She 3 Music Festival.
Melissa
So-
was here. You were here last year for the She.
She was. She's
She
been
too,
here
right?
The last 2 years for She. That's actually where she first met Dinah.
Fantastic.
3.
This is the third
This
one.
will be the third.
The
Yeah,
first
it was
one after
2020.
Dinah performed.
Yeah.
I remember I said
Oh.
to you, I need you to meet these kids.
Yep.
And
I remember that
and
day.
in the hall, we were right outside my office. I said, you need to meet them. You met them, and you said, come and play our open mic on Sunday.
And that was
And
great.
they
And
said,
they all came. Go ahead.
well, they went, we don't have a drummer. We have to go talk to Michael. They came running out here. They talked to Mike Nat. He, of course, said yes. And then that night, Joe Montalbano,
That's when Joe
decided
decided
that he was going to join the band. So
that was
it
fantastic.
all came full circle. So
Yeah.
that's why we share them.
I remember that day. I remember the stars in their eyes.
Oh.
And
I know.
and they,
Love
they
those
just
kids.
wanted to perform. And when I said come to open mic, it was as if they were performing at the Spectrum.
I know.
It
It was so awesome, and it was during COVID.
It was.
And we were only allowed X amount, and we had the
I
tents
remember.
outside, and we had people outside. And I remember saying to these kids, like all their friends were there, and I said, come in.
Yeah.
Stand along the window, and if I have to say to you, run out the door.
Yeah.
Run out the door.
Exactly.
And we let everybody in, and I remember they just brought the house down.
Well,
They did bring it down.
I remember
and
seeing.
they all had their white
It was
shoes
so-
on. I remember them all walking in. They all came walking in with their hair and
I
their
know.
white and their white
They're
white
such
boots.
good kids.
And
And
they
they
came
took-
walking
They
in,
took their
and they
selfies
were
in the Ribby bathroom.
Oh,
Yep,
they were
yep.
so excited, and it was.
Yeah, all those selfies they did.
I got a vicarious thrill out of those girls that day.
Well, I got to
It was
tell you
just,
though, when you think about it, right? That night that they played,
It launched it.
that launched it. I remember we were looking around the room because it was only the second time they had ever played. We looked around the room. He was sobbing, and it was when they
It really
did,
was.
It was when they did Before He Cheats, because there were people there that had never seen them, right? Obviously, or that weren't.
I'm not even a huge
But
fan
wait,
of that song,
no,
but it was
because of them.
so
It was the
killer.
way everybody else was responding to that.
Yes.
Cut to 3 Friday nights ago when they played, and I had that overwhelming experience. I got up, I was on stage standing next to Joey, and I was recording their last song. The audience started chanting for one more song, and I could see Giovanna looking for you, and then I saw you go like this. So they did one more song, and they ended up doing Detroit Rock City, and that place erupted. And I had that moment where I was like, oh my God, these kids have come so far. And for them to have that kind of a moment there, where they officially got, they started here, but their first bar show,
Yep.
it's the Ribby all day, baby. The Ribby all day.
Oh, I gave them a monthly gig in our tent.
I know.
after that.
Absolutely.
I know.
Yeah.
And that was amazing too.
Yeah.
They love it.
It was.
Yeah, their teachers were coming out.
Yep.
Their teachers were coming
Yep.
out to watch
Yep.
them. And I remember a whole bunch of people from Methacton
That's
time
it.
came.
That's
to the
it.
tents
And that's the thing, right? You're bringing in people that, you're in Bridgeport, you blink and you're through Bridgeport. People go to Bridgeport usually for two things, Little Sicily and you guys. That's what else is there in Bridgeport?
It's true.
Well, I take the dogs to the vet there.
And they're right near each other.
Yeah. But there's, that's really all that's happening in Bridgeport. And then people were coming from all over because they were like, oh, this band's playing, oh, Dinah's playing there, this band, that band. And, some of the greatest bands that we've seen have been there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You do a great job of curating the music. You do the decor is everything. There is always something to look at. Always something to look at, whether it be the pictures along the walls or the memorabilia. There's always something to look at.
Our new bar top is complete now.
Nice.
Yeah.
And when I say there's always something to look at,
I didn't see the new bar
I'm not
top, did I?
referring
New
to
bar
the
top,
girls.
new tap system.
Well, some people are.
You do hire well too. I mean, listen, Mike is no slouch. Mike's nice to look at too. So, well, thank you again for being here. We are very appreciative.
Thank you.
Sure.
Go to Ribstock, February 19th.
February 19th.
And then just continue to go to the Rib House because you won't be disappointed ever. I promise.
Anytime.
All right.
And if you have an original band,
we'll enter the
email us
contest.
at info@ribhouse.net.
Perfect.
And
we'll
get back
promote
to
that
you.
as it gets, and maybe as it gets
Sure.
closer, we'll have you back and we can talk about that event too.
Okay. All right.
Because now she's comfortable.
All right.
She's good. She did a great job.
You did a great job.
I'm
All right, guys.
comfortable.
Peace. Drop.
Bruce, if you're watching, remember, come to the Rib House.
Yes. Hashtag the boss.
Springsteen.
Springsteen.
Not sure.
Yeah. That's awesome. Did a great job.
Stop it.
How'd you feel?
No, I feel fine.
Okay.